There's two words that we hear in both the first reading from Isaiah and the Gospel today. Zebulun and Naphtali. Zebulun and Naphtali. In the Gospel, it refers to a geographic area, but it starts off as names of two people. Zebulun and Naphtali were two of Jacob's sons. They were part of those sons of Jacob that formed the original community of Israel. And as they settled in that what is called Promised Land, Zebulun and Naphtali and their families, their tribes, settled in that area, that region, that included Capernaum, and a bit also touching on Nazareth. It was an area in the south. It was near the Sea of Galilee. It is actually a very beautiful part of the Israelite area. Very lush and green, lots of trees, different kinds of things grow there. And also it's a place where Jesus coined the Beatitudes. There's the Mount of the Beatitudes, not far from these areas. This is where Jesus said to Peter that upon this rock I will build my church. All these things kind of happened around there. Jesus healed Peter's mother-in-law in the city of Capernaum. And so when Jesus moves from Nazareth to Capernaum, he does so for a purpose. And that purpose is to reach out to these people that were living there. Now, it is called the Galilee of the Gentiles because of the history. These two tribes especially were absorbed to a certain extent by the Assyrians when they conquered that southern area 500 years before the time of Jesus or more, 700 years. And they intermarried with them, and they tried to enculturate them, and they brought pagan religion there. And so these people in that area who were conquered ended up becoming kind of absorbed into this Assyrian culture, but they preserved some of their Jewish faith. And so these people are the ones that have become what Jesus experiences and the people talk about in the time of Jesus, the Samaritans. And that's why the Samaritans end up becoming these second-class citizens in the eyes of those in the south, because they had fallen away from faith. They had, even though that they were conquered, even though that they had no control over this, they were looked down upon because they had lost their faith. They were kind of like half-breeds. And I think about the divisions that existed between the South and the North over this issue. It brought Jesus into that region because it was his job, his idea, his self-concept to reach out to those that had been put down. Jesus becomes that light in darkness that Isaiah is talking about. The past few days have been interesting days, I think, for us as we've seen all of the transitions going on in our country. And the three different events that are going to take within 2 weeks that are going to take place in Washington, D.C., kind of, for me, are symbolic of those divisions that existed at the time of Jesus. As we experienced these past few days, the inauguration of Donald Trump. The day after, we have this huge march by women. And then in next week, we'll have the pro-life march in Washington, D.C. You can't have more stark differences within our country than that. And it agitated me. It took peace from me. I just didn't feel at peace anymore by the whole process. Because we have values maybe that are now getting put forward and getting rebelled against by those others. And so I find myself disconcerted by it all. Well, one of the things that I found out last night as I reflected on this and visited with a friend of mine who is also a priest, who's talking the same language that I was trying to arrive at, but he coined it, and so here it is. Jesus Christ is the light of the world. And he's the only light. We cannot find the light in our political leaders. We cannot find the light in other human beings as much as we can find it in Jesus Christ anyway. He's the one that unites us. He's the one we must look to. He's the one that experiences that we see in the Gospels over and over again. He's the one trying to reach out to the disenfranchised, to those who had no power. Today, he reaches out to these apostles. He calls them. They were fishermen. Fishermen were low on the totem pole in terms of society's power. They were, in a sense, the poor, the working class. He reached out to them. Because he settled in Capernaum in the midst of that Galilee of the Gentiles, he reached out to the Samaritans, those who were considered less in that area. So Jesus becomes a light, as one who points out there is darkness in our world. There is darkness, there is sin, there is division, and yet I bring you the light, and I want to be the light in your life. When Jesus moves to this area to set up, in a sense, his home base in Capernaum, he reminds us something of maybe our own geography around here. You know, when he goes over to Peter and Andrew and plucks them up and says, I want you to follow me, and he goes over to James and John and he says, follow me, and they leave everything. I think that there's really a lot of stuff that went on before that. Because as Jesus settled in that region, he got to know people, and he watched people, and he observed what kind of characters they were. I think Jesus was a very, very good judge of character from the human viewpoint, besides the fact that he had a divine insight into all of these things. And so, kind of like here, you know, when I say a name of someone that I've met in Fordyce, somebody who's lived here for a long time, they know who I'm talking about. Or somebody that I knew years ago in Wynot. Maybe they died years ago. And if you grew up here, you remember them. It's kind of like that kind of a region that we're talking about. It isn't very big we're talking about when we talk about this land of Zebulun, Naphtali. It's kind of like this area around here that we talk about, our familiarities with. And so Jesus judged those characters ahead of time and picked them because he knew that they were the ones he wanted. But they were unqualified to do what he wanted them to do. His qualification was simply his call and them getting to know him. And once they got to know him and brought his light into their life, that's what qualified them. And from that came their skills. And from that came their ability to become fishers of other men. So for us, when we think about Jesus being our light, we don't have to worry about what our talents are or our gifts as much as we have to worry about keeping the light in our lives, keeping Jesus at the center of our lives. When I do that, there's a whole lot of things that I can do that I never thought I could do before. I've experienced the Lord's call in my life. I'd like you to consider the fact that you've experienced the Lord's call in your life. When you got that call to marry that spouse of yours, it's called proposal. You fell in love with each other. When you got that call, that formed your whole life. That person became the light in your life, but also that began to form who you were and what your goals were in life. Your call was to be faithful. Your call was to be loyal. Your call was to love, even when you didn't feel like it. That's what your call was in that context. Your call was to raise children and bring them up in the faith. That was what Jesus was calling you to do. He plucked you from your boat and gave you a person in your life that you are to love. Whatever the call might be, there's a lot of sub-calls that go below these, like the call just to be a good boss or a good employee. Your call is to be that loving person, that light in the context in which you live your lives. As I've experienced the Lord's call in my life, so many times those calls came in ways that I didn't plan for them. There was no way that I planned to move from Wynot St. James to Elgin. Completely was out of the blue. I just got settled and got the last box unpacked. And the bishop asked me to go to St. Boniface in Elgin. So those calls that come out of the clear blue sometimes stretch us. and make us to be something different, but we've got to go back to what's important. I'm not the one being called. I'm called to be the one who brings Jesus' light to wherever I'm sent. When that call comes to each of us, we recognize Jesus then becomes that mercy in our hearts that forms us into being the kind of person he wants us to be in that particular context. And we know that none of us are perfect at it. None of us have a corner on the market of holiness or a corner on the market of wisdom. We just have to keep looking back to Jesus the light and ask him for that guidance in our lives as well. So as we bend our way through these rough times in our country, these difficult times when values are really becoming head to head, we hold on to our values because our values, the ones we hold on to, are the values of Jesus Christ, who is the light.